I didn't see it.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the TAC meeting. Just to let you know, we're using the microphone system here in the middle of the room. So as you speak, please speak up and talk towards the center of the room so we can pick you up on the online. So with that, I'd like the motion to approve the agenda today.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the TAC agenda for May 20th, 2024. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, thanks. Next, we have the approval of the TAC meeting minutes from April 22nd, 2024. Somebody like to make a motion?
I'm going to accept the meetings minutes from April 22nd, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the meeting minutes from April 22nd, 2024. All approved, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, moving along. Next, we have the director's report, Chad.
Mr. Chair, thank you. Good morning, members of the Technical Advisory Committee. We have a few reports to report to you, a few items to report to you. Also, we have a couple of action items and discussion items. The action items today are mostly related to development of TIP, that is Transportation Improvement Program. There was a lot of hard work that went in by the project selection committee to get to the point of developing the Transportation Improvement Program. So today you will see those action items that Peter will be presenting later on, culminating into some recommendations as well. So before those action items, we have a few items to report. And starting with the request for proposals, RFPs, and those are new initiatives that WAMPO staff is taking. And then Peter has an update on request proposals. Peter, please.
Good morning. Through here our current list of requests for proposals. We're working on several things here at WAMPO, and we've been giving these just regular updates on how all of these are going here. So first we have our Intelligent Transportation Systems ITS Architecture, RFP. So the plan is to hire a consultant and the development of an updated ITS regional architecture, including a comprehensive assessment and inventory of current architecture. The RFP for that project was issued on May 2nd, and the proposal deadline is May 24th. And then we have our travel demand model update phase 2. The project is to secure expert technical support from a consultant to keep the model up to date, train WAMPO staff on its use, and provide on-call technical support, generate model outputs as needed, recommend improvements, such and so forth. The RFP for this project was issued on May 9th, and the proposal deadline is June 7th. And then we have our Safe Routes to School planning assistance. So for that one, we are seeking a consultant to assist in development of the Safe Routes to School plans for all schools and school districts in the region. Currently, our state partners have reviewed a draft RFP, and WAMPO staff are currently finalizing edits. And then finally, we have the Safe Streets and Roads for All SS4A implementation grant application. We intend to hire a consultant for this. The grants are very competitive, and we intend to issue an RFP for a consultant to help for the 2025 round of funding. Any questions for me on these RFPs?
I don't see any, so thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Appreciate it. Now we have the next couple of items to update by Dora. Dora will update on transit ridership and the public meeting that's upcoming.
Good morning, my name is Dora Guy, transportation planner here at WAMPO. I'll just give a short update on the WAMPO region public transit operations, and we'll get into the ridership data. There's a short table, there's a longer table towards the end of the packet if you'd like to go a little more in depth with the numbers, but here's just a quick update for the 2023 ridership. So Wichita Transit had 1,269,050 riders. Derby Dash had 7,799. ABL Hustle had 2,993. Sedgwick County Transportation had 9,564. And Butler County Transit had 18,710. Any questions, comments? The numbers don't look Friday, please let us know. And then I want to also give an update on the regional transit implementation plan. We have 3 public meetings that will be held on June 5th. All throughout the day, we have a morning one from 10 to 11:30 at the Pathway Church in Goddard. And then we have an online virtual meeting from 2 to 3. There's a flyer in the packet, and it's also on our website. QR code to register for it. And then we have our 3rd meeting in Bel Air City Hall from 5:30 to 7 p.m. We would really appreciate it if you guys can spread the word around so we can get some community members and stakeholders involved.
Thank you,
Any
Dora.
comments, questions?
Thank you for the information and, appreciate the flyer and the opportunity to be able to, provide this to our communities.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think June 5 is a great opportunity for all of us to recommend what we would like to see in the region. What transit, the seamless transit coordination between multi-jurisdictions. Those are challenges that our region has, and then how other regions solve it, and consulting firm we can learn and then see what is good for our region. So we all encourage you to attend and also encourage others to attend, both to learn as well as to contribute to that. The next item we have is, as you can see on your table, there is a survey put together. Mark did a good job. A lot of effort went to put this survey together for the round 3. For the long range transportation plan, we have a round 4 that's going to happen in winter to January, February 2025. But this time, Mark is here to update those. Thank you, Mark.
Yes, hi, I'm Mark Jones, Administrative and Public Outreach Coordinator at WAMPO. So for those of you at the table, there is a survey there as well as a pen. Please take a few minutes at the end of the meeting, preferably, to fill that out. It really won't take long. And then it is also available on our website at wampo.org/mtp2050. You can expect to see some sort of an email and social media going out soon. It is, yeah, it should be good. It will run from today. We're launching it through June 30. We also have some posters here at this front table. If you'd like to hang them up, that would be great. If you'd like to request that we hang them up in certain locations, we can do that too. There are also little cards that have a QR code for it. So yeah, we appreciate everyone participating and taking that. It will really help us in the development of our long range plan. Any questions?
Thank you, Marky, and especially thank you for providing this on our tables and for the pen. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you everybody, WAMPO staff for all the updates. Next we have public comments. Everybody from the public would like to make a comment. You have limited to 3 minutes. Anybody online? No. All right, we will move on to number 4, the action items. So we have Peter, the fiscal year 25 through 28 TIP project section committee WAMPO sub-allocated funding recommendations.
Good morning, and I'm very excited to present these project selection committees, sub-allocated funding recommendations. To kind of go over a little bit of history, from September 15th to February 2nd of 2024, we held a combined call for projects for both the Metropolitan Transportation Plan 2050 and the federal fiscal year 2025 to 2028 Transportation Improvement Program, the TIP. And then from April to May, the Project Selection Committee met to make recommendations on awards of WAMPO sub-allocated federal funding for those same federal fiscal years, with PSC meetings for MTP project recommendations still to have. So to go over what they recommended funding on, below you can see here a table. This is on packet page 14. The PSC made recommendations for the use of available funding in federal fiscal years, from federal fiscal year 2025 to 2028, given the amounts shown in the table. For 2025 and 2026, we had some projected year-end balances that they made some recommendations for. And then in 27 and 28, they made funding recommendations for those years based on what we project our WAMPO federal suballocated allotments will be. In that same staff report, we also have a map of all of those respective projects, as you can see here before you. And then importantly, I have all of the projects listed here up on the screen. Those are the funding recommendations in that table there. A more readable version, of course, in that staff report. Quite a few recommendations there. Any questions I can answer for anyone on these funding recommendations from the PSC?
I'm not seeing any, so.
Next steps. So today we are May 20th. We're offering these for TAP recommendation. All goes well here. We'll offer these for possible approval by the TPP on their June 11th meeting. I want to cite one critical part on here. In the Amendment 8 that is following this action item, most of the 25 and 2026 recommendations from the PSC are included in that amendment. So the Amendment 8 in its entirety that we prepared is contingent on approval of these PSC recommendations. Which brings us to our action items. Approve the PSC's federal fiscal year 2025-2028 WAMPO suballocated funding recommendations as presented. Not approved. Approve with specific changes. And then I'll give our staff recommendation is to approve the suballocated funding recommendations as presented.
Well, thank you, Peter. And if there's no questions for Peter, I would recommend a motion for approval for this action item.
I would make a motion to approve as presented. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this action item. The Project Selection Committee sub-allocated funding recommendations. Any questions? All approved, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, thank you. Thank you, Peter. Next, we'll move on to item B, which is the, as Peter mentioned, this is the TIP amendment number 8.
We have our TIP amendment number 8. It is the 8th regularly and last regularly scheduled TIP amendment for the federal fiscal year 2023 to 2026 TIP. Went through our normal process of the public comment period for 5-3, 5-17. No public comments were received. We're here for the TAP recommendation today with the subsequent vote on June 11th by TV. You can check out the full details in the amendment summary that's shown on the screen as attached link in your packet and as a link in the bottom of the webpage if you are also. There's 15 projects in Amendment 8. 8 have requested or have changes that require TAP TPP approval. There's 8 requests for new projects we have in TIP and 7 projects to be modified in TIP. In addition, notice is provided 2 projects with administrative adjustments that don't necessarily require formal action by TAP. On the map, this particular amendment, we have all 17 of those projects, the 15 ones that require amendments and 2 that are just administrative adjustments. Typically, we have several unmappable ones. So on the map, we have the Rock Road Corridor improvement sponsored by the city of Derby. Wichita Intelligent Transportation System Project on East 21st Street North, sponsored by Wichita. 17th Street North, I-135 to Hillside, sponsored by Wichita. The Red Bud Path from Woodlawn, P96, sponsored by Wichita. The West Street, I-1235 to McCarter, sponsored by Wichita. The Southwest Butler Road Improvements Project from Southwest 170th Street to Southwest 155th Street, sponsored by Butler County. And then we have several KDOT projects We have the bridge number 305 on I-135 and bridge number 302 on US 54 ramp in Central County, sponsored by KDOT. The Goddard US 54 and 183rd Street crossing, sponsored by KDOT. The rail line rehabilitation along the Kano Railroad, sponsored by KDOT. And then we have 6 Kano Railroad improvement projects, all sponsored by KDOT. In the amount of about $500,000, and you can see this in the table that's in the packet there as well. So, on there, that's all those projects listed on the map. And then a summary description of all of the actions, along with a detailed description of the change region column. So inclined to take a look, that's also available on the website. And then, quite importantly, the WAMPO sub-allocated funding changes that are listed in here. You may notice at the bottom of this chart, there's 2 projects, the ones with the 53rd Street, Oliver Woodlawn multi-use path, and Maple Street pathway. There were changes to the funding years in those projects, but the overall cost was not changed on those projects. And then a summary statement of the local, state, and federal funding changes also available in staff. And to just confirm, the Amendment 8 meets our regular requirements, so public comment review here is consistent with the current Metropolitan Transportation Plan, reimagined in 2040. It's fiscally constrained and has a financial impact of $13.7 million. Which brings us to our action item. Recommended TPP to approve the federal fiscal year 2023 to 2026 tip as presented. Recommend the TPP not approved. Recommend the TPP approve with specific changes in the funding. Our recommendation, we recommend that the TPP approve the federal fiscal year 2023 to 2026 tip amendment number 8 as presented. Any questions for me before formal action?
Yeah, Peter, the Redmond path, where did the 2.869 change in federal funding come from? Does not match the previous.
2.86
Yeah, 2.86 total.
from, I would want
Oh,
to check,
that's a CRP.
yeah. I would want to check to make sure I tell you the exact number that comes from the CRP and other funding balances that we had for 25 and 26.
Okay.
So there's quite a bit assigned there. In addition, just so you're aware, when you do the next tip, there's another de-obligated project during the project selection committee meetings, where an additional about $238,000 of funding is included with the project selection committees with recommendations, but not in the amendment at this time.
Thank you, Paul. I can see Peter clarifying on page 20. There's a table below that shows the CRP and CMAC and STBG. Those 3 are adding up to 2,869,216.
Okay. I think when it was previously programmed, I think it was programmed as 2.234, but that was kind of unknown at the time, so this is verifying that. What CRP funding was left over?
Yes, after looking at the different balances we had for 25 and 26.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are there any other questions for Peter? If not, would somebody like to make a motion to approve the fiscal year 23 through 26 tip amendment number 8?
I make a motion to approve tip amendment number 8 as presented. I'll second.
The motion and a second to approve tip number 8 as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, thank you, Peter. Thank you for all your work and all the staff's work on this project with the project selection committee and putting everything together. All right, next we have discussion and updates. First, we have safety updates. We have Kim and Marky.
Okay, so we just wanted to, Kim and I wanted to just give an update, because of how important safety is to WAMPO and all of the WAMPO region. So just some general updates that I'll get started with. So the first one is that in our comprehensive safety action plan, one of the ongoing strategies in there is to do at least 2 road safety assessment or road safety audit each year. And so in April, some members of WAMPO staff attended a road safety assessment or an RSA training, along with some other member jurisdictions. We're also at this training, and so we were able to learn how these RSAs are conducted, to give us, more skills and knowledge to do that. And we look to do those in the future along with the jurisdictions. And then we also attended the KDOT Transportation Safety Conference in Topeka. Kim and I went. There's a picture of us presenting. We had the opportunity to kind of talk about our CSAP as well as our SS4A or Safe Streets and Roads for All grant experiences and share that and hear about other experiences. We also had great networking opportunities. We were able to meet some people that we've shared emails with, so it's great to put faces to names. And then we also learned about some cool tools in the different breakout rooms. One of them that I will mention that just launched last week is KDOT's Global Road User Safety Assessment Tool. And I have linked that on the WAMPO website, and it's also on KDOT as well. And then I think Kim will give the rest of the updates.
Yes, good morning. Just a couple more updates on safety. We did release the KDOT WAMPO Behavioral Safety Grant. Those applications are due June 30th. It's a fairly brief, simple application that you can just download right off our website. This is really looking at the behavioral use, not infrastructure. So we are excited. There's a total of 50,000 to award this time. So looking forward to some innovative and exciting applications from the region. Also, we did host our ICT Safe Coalition meeting. We had really good attendance. We are excited about this coalition, really growing it to really help us implement the CSAP strategies. And then I wanted to give you one quick update on SS4A. As you know, we were working on the implementation of grants. This is a very new and evolving program at the federal government level. And so it was determined that we need to add a few additional strategies to our CSAP before applying. So we will be starting work on that 2025 application. I don't know if you're interested in including any projects. And of course, we were awarded the SS4A demonstration funding in December. So we are excited to get those demonstration projects up and going so we can evaluate those. We are currently working with the Federal Highway Administration just to ensure we have all of the rules and eligibility requirements for those projects. So we're still working through that process, but yes, excited to get moving. Any questions on safety? Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Kim and Marky. Hope you had a good time while you were at the convention.
We did. It was wonderful networking opportunity and, like you said, several new tools.
Great to hear. All right, next we have population projections. Jeremy Hill from WSU Center for Economic Development and Business Research. Welcome.
Yeah, well, thanks for letting me come back again. This time, no one has to sing unless you really want to sing, part of the Lion King thing. All right, here's an update. So last time we came and said, hey, here's a new methodology. You might want to remember, first time we were asked to do our population forecast, we were doing it for the whole region, and then they said, oh, we want it for all these neighborhoods. So we kind of allocated it down. Said, well, that doesn't really work because there's some demographics by each neighborhood kind of level. So we went back, and that's where we're at. We pitched the idea. So I'm going to show you the first round of this. There's still more to edit, but this is the first round to get it more specific to what is going to be helpful for all the communities around here. So before we allocate it down, now we have it. We added in our employment forecast. We added in a year ago, so we added that detail by each city had their own forecast already to kind of drive some labor demand in those communities. And then we're going to talk a little bit about some of the next steps for This is just a reminder, so we said, hey, here's the background, you can look at it if you want to talk about it. There are 4 components that really drive this long-term forecast. And actually, we're coming in, and Chad's talking about short-term, long-term. Short-term forecasts can have different effects, right? You have policies and things like this. Long-term forecasts, you have structures to it, and that's why population tends to be one. So in here, we have aging, death, and fertility. The big one is this migration. Why would someone move into an area? How can we control those? So that was the idea. We said, here's the vision for it. But last time we could have the historic change, we can have building permits, and we can have this employment forecast. Add that in by each one to really calculate that migration to it. All right, and then we said we're going to put some constraints. Just reminding you, at some point, there's in economics there's limited resources. So at some point, when we get this next round, we might have to put constraints and really limit it down to what's reasonable for the whole region to grow. Growing from very slow to double growth is probably not great for the whole region. So here's what I really want to talk about. Calculation of this change, show you that, give you a review of this employment forecast. You might have seen that in the previous report that we produced last year. Talk about the new population forecast and again next time. All right, and here's this equation. One thing that we did, and I should introduce Craig is here and Jonathan. Jonathan has been running our population forecast and did all the work. When we first did it, we used historic on there as the biggest driver. What was that net migration? It ended up being a little bit more negative than I think is reasonable. So it was not just more reasonable, it was a lot more negative. So we swapped those 2 equations because the whole region wasn't growing where it should have grown. It was slowed down too much. So we swapped them. And so now we have a heavier weight to these employment forecasts and less on what's happening in the past. What we have not included is important to this top one is this building permits. And this is what we're gonna have to work here in the next couple of weeks with cities, right? We can say employment's growing, but if you put over the last several years, what building permits happening, you're attracting to be more of a veteran community. That will allow us to have more migration into an area. So that's still needed in this to really capture some of the growth that's happened in some of our suburb communities. All right, with this, here's the employment forecast that we have already produced. For most of this, there's some pretty big growth in like Jeremy and Meigs and Goddard, right? They have been adding quite a bit to have those grow. And this is capturing that growth based on the industry structures in all those communities. Manufacturing, what's our big forecast for manufacturing? Right? And finance, how much finance did you have in the sector? All right, that got fed in. So we now, instead of allocating down, Jonathan built a model for every single community. What are the demographics of men and women by certain age cohorts? We added that employment in, and now we have a new forecast for population. Now remember, it's when we have 80% is by that employment forecast and 20% is by that history. So there's something slowing down. If you haven't been growing, you can slow down a little bit. And here you see some big growth in some of those more suburban communities that we didn't have in the previous one, right? The Andover and some of these communities have some bigger growth. There are even some small communities that are growing and some that are not. The rest of the region, which in the last one, we allowed less of region be all that annexation, which is what got a lot of frustration, right? You have to annex it in. Right now, that rest of region is kind of declining because it's being annexed in by default when we built it this time. So it looks like it's declining a little bit. In reality, they're just being pulled into those other urbanized areas. This will help summarize it a little bit. What is the annualized growth rate for each? Again, this is still not the final one, but this is just utilizing that model and become a little bit more optimistic. Keep in mind, this whole region in our broader forecast was to grow by 0.6% a year, which is stronger growth than we have been growing, but much more in line with what the whole Wichita area should be growing, 0.6. So when you see some community growing by a lot faster, that's an accelerated growth rate than our history or even what is really capable for Kansas or this region or most regions around us. So just to give you a context, around 0.6% is the broader average, and this overall average is slightly less. But when we add in that building permits, it's going to have a little bit more growth, and we'll adjust that a little bit more. My suggestion is that we get back to Mays and all those other communities, get those building permits in there, and that would fuel more growth, so they have more of the bedroom, community, and bring that overall growth back up to where we expected. Are there any questions?
So you're gonna be reaching out to each city in the county or
Yeah,
within
we're-
WAMPO?
Yeah, we're gonna work with MPO to try to communicate that message, so if they have building permits, as I shared even last time, and they're willing to give us that, then we can pull that in as another variable into it. So the model's built for it, we just need the data, see what has been that longer growth building permits. That way, each community would have, in the past, what has really happened, how they've been making investments as a community, that way it would be captured in this model. Yes?
How far back are you looking at building permits?
I think we have it written on here, but do you remember off the top of my head, was it 5 years?
5.
Yeah, 5 years. Yeah,
My other comment is, I think the Wichita Area Builders Association already produces that data. I think a lot of the communities
You're talking
already.
about WAWA?
report- Yeah, WAWA already has it.
I can, well, yeah, that'd be a good, the center, I don't know if you know this, we actually produced that for the entire state for 40-some years. And about 8 years ago, we stopped producing that for the whole state. We actually had building permits and values for a very, very long time. But it's good, WABA has it, and I think NAI Martins also tries to collect those as well. We actually get some of those. So Jonathan's been collecting some of them, but not in enough detail to each community. I think Jonathan got that, so thanks for that. Yes.
So then, once you get through all of it, and you've got your final, how often do you update it?
So great thing about our overall model, we can update it as much as we ever want to now. In the past, when we're the official census population provider, we would run all this and it was static until someone paid us to go do it again. Now we've built it, so every time there's a census update, and there was one, by the way, we actually put the most recent census data in here from the previous one. So we can update when a new census data or a new assumption. It's a whole lot easier now that it's built. So we can do as often as we want. And it doesn't take as long to just let it all run really quickly. Yeah.
The second question is, since your 5 years going back includes the COVID time.
Yep.
Do you think that'll skew it going forward?
So over those last 5 years, we've definitely had really a shift in preferences, right? There's been a whole lot of multifamily, particularly in some of these urban markets. So there's a lot of shifts in. I think looking at history is going to be a better value than necessarily someone saying, hey, I want this amount of growth in the future. So I think that's probably out of all the options, that one will capture what has each community actually gotten an investment. And they're all going to be on the same basis, right? Every community had an opportunity to continue to grow. So is it perfect? I don't think so. And we're still open, by the way, I'll show you this. We're still open to other suggestions. Here's what actual migration is calculated, which you can look at in more detail. So we still want to do a process. So as soon as we get these building permits, we're going to come back and present it, have a discussion, and we're willing to make other changes. We just need to have real fundamental reasons why that history didn't work for one community, and they can tell us, and we can have ways to make adjustments. But I think having a standard, starting point, having something standard is a good one for everyone to look at. Then let's come back and talk about why it does or doesn't work. So far, I think it's aligning to an expectation that people really would want, a close to a reasonable expectation of what people want, right? But the idea that our model has limited constraints, we don't allow it to just grow for nothing. You have to have people and women and so much for it to actually keep growing.
You track like rentals or homeowners, things like that? Or
What's
just,
that?
do you track like rental properties?
So in this case, we don't really care. In each community, if you're adding more building permits, your housing stock is already built in here by default, and you're adding the housing stock, that's all we care about. If it's renting or owning, that really won't matter. It would change a little bit of your migration, but we have some of that migration already built into packs. So yeah, there are some of those. See where you're going, there's a lot of these variations in how communities look. Bel Air is going to be different than Goddard or Mays.
Any other questions for Jeremy?
So Jeremy, could you go back to that? This slide, I just want to remind everyone that the context on this is Jeremy is going to, and his team are going to present in the next TPV on the methodology. And Jeremy and his team are taking these questions, these input, and anything we are missing in the, finally, we'll be finalizing the methodology. We'll be seeking your approval for a methodology so that the projections and forecasts on the long-range transportation plan are based on your approval at TAG and then at the TPV as well. I just want to share the next steps and then how this is going to be culminating. But thank you,
Yeah.
Jeremy, and
Interactive, so if you have concerns, more specific concerns, please let us know. Because right now is the time, we have dates adjusted. For some reason, you have grandkids in Valley Center and they're very fertile and they're gonna have quadruplets. We can add that in.
but we really appreciate Jeremy and his staff. There's a lot of hard work that goes into it, and many variables in the technical analysis. Thank you.
But so I know it's not final yet, but is your presentation somewhere that we can access it?
Yes, absolutely. We sent it this morning and Peter can have it, but that was a slow on our process from a CPR, but we'll try to get that more accessible the next round.
Yeah, so I can send that presentation once all the TAG members here this morning. And just to keep you in the loop, as Chad and Jeremy were describing, we'll do multiple rounds of review on these and everyone informed as we develop these.
Yeah, the only reason why you didn't have it is really on us, so we should have had it earlier, we didn't give it to you guys.
So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming down.
All right, thank you.
All right, next we have item C, the K-96 improvement project updates. We have Dwayne KDOT.
All right, I'm Dwayne Flug from KDOT. I am the district construction and field engineer. I'm also the acting metro engineer. That's to present a next improvement project. So I'm gonna let JP, our host, talk about that, and I'll try to answer any technical questions that you guys might have.
Hi there, I'm JP Wilson, I'm the Public Information Officer for Wichita Metro. So this is the K-96 improvement project. Recently we had an open house. We were able to get a lot of feedback from the community and like to present on some findings we found from that. And just in general, what some of these improvements will look like. So in this presentation, we're going to go through the project overview, the updates, like I said, the open house summary, and what these designs will actually look like, and the next steps we'll be taking in this process. So these are our partners. Right now, it's huge that we are collaborating with people like Federal Highway Administration, City of Wichita, Central County. These are all pieces that kind of make a project like this come together. In this particular project, we are going to be changing 7 intersections and our interchanges, and we will be working in close collaboration with the North Junction Improvements Project and also with the East Kellogg Project. So hopefully between those two and these 7 interchanges, we'll have a pretty good idea of, or we'll be able to streamline a really effective way for commuters to get from I-135 to I-35 to that K-96 corridor. The particular interchanges what's occurring is Hillside, Oliver, Woodlawn, Rock Road, Webb, Greenwich, and Quaker Street. Some real benefits of this is we're going to increase capacity. So right now we have 50,000 drivers that take that particular piece of highway every day. It's expected to jump to 100,000 by the year 2050. We want to relieve some congestion. But we want to reduce the amount of time that cars are idling on that particular piece of highway. We also the main all this should also be first is safety. We want to enhance safety. Currently, there there's been 200 crashes, on K-96 from 2015 to 2020. A lot of these interchanges, it will help to streamline, the amount of time it takes to hop onto the highway. It will also make it, safer for pedestrians and cyclists, so that's huge. So, currently, we just got back the NEPA environmental studies, the noise study, and, we conducted a lot of public outreach, which is, that's your open house. We had 125 community members attend. There was a lot of really great feedback. So if they had used, for example, one of these diverging diamond interchanges that we're going to be improving on, we have them in Manhattan and Junction City and Kansas City, and they seem to really enjoy the amount of there's not as much resistance when they're hopping on the highway. It's a lot more streamlined when they're taking these intersections to their provided destinations. And it also kind of just proves like that safety factor that we're kind of trying to push. So right now what we're doing is we're another thing that's going to be happening is on K-96 where it meets US 54, we're going to be expanding 4 lanes to 6 lanes. That part of Andover, or that part of highway that goes into Andover is expanding quite a bit, and we do want to accommodate for those commuters that we were mentioning. A huge part of that is just kind of making sure that, like I said, we're not idling as much. The commute is able to grow for the expanding population, and we're allowing them to have access to this part of the highway as effectively as possible. This is the initial. This is the initial part of the highway. Everything's going to be kind of getting affected. Eastbound on this ramp will have a braided intersection that kind of feeds into Hillside. So this is one of the diverging diamond interchanges. It's a huge part of this is going to allow local. Sorry, this is a better shot. So the Oliver divergent diamond interchange you can see here, it will add kind of pathways for pedestrians, for cyclists. We're going to widen that part of the bridge, and I believe that it's also going to be really beneficial if you're hopping off the highway. That expanded part of the on-ramp will make it a lot easier to join traffic. If you've ever driven, if you've ever got onto Oliver from K-96, it's kind of a rush sometimes. This is the Woodlawn interchange. It's primarily what we're going to be doing is adding a connector into that Home Depot and YMCA parking lot to allow for traffic to have easier access to that. Currently, there's a lot of congestion, especially around rush hour. There seems to be a little bit of a, you can hit like one light, it's like a red light. This will hopefully streamline that part of the process. The Rock Road interchange, we're going to be winding that up, like I said, that part of the overpass as well, which will kind of hopefully, which will streamline a lot of traffic. Also, the web interchange, we've been working with the airport. We want to make sure that they have easier access to hop on to that part of the highway as well. Same with the Greenwich intersection. We've actually we're able to kind of grow with that part of Greenwich. We've done a lot of improvements on that. We are going to be adding a little bit of extra width on those lanes, but we wanted to make sure that we were able to continue to allow the commuters to use this relatively effectively. This has been improved on quite a bit. This is this 21st Street. This is also one of those diverging diamond interchanges where we're improving it for cyclist commuters. This part of the highway has been expanding quite a bit as well, so we wanted to make sure that this was another area that we were addressing. The anticipated timeline, currently we're in 2024. We're hoping it's slated right now to begin for 2027. We will not begin allocating funding until 2 years prior, so we're looking to allocate funding in 2025. And this is pretty much how we would get involved. This is a link to our website, and this will essentially give you kind of extra information. Any questions you might have, you might be able to we'll be able to go there and get more access.
All right, I'm gonna throw my 2 cents in just because I might have missed something. Basically, 135 to 21st Street, we're gonna make it 6 lanes all the way through with the median, like the turnpike. So we're gonna grow in, not out. From 21st to, I'm gonna say the KTA on the east side of town, we're gonna rebuild everything that's there. Still gonna be 2 lanes all that way, but there's gonna be room to expand if we need to for future. The reason we're waiting until 2027 is because we've got the North Junction project, which doesn't look like it's gonna be done until 27. We've got the East Kellogg expansion project, which we're expanding 6 lanes from basically about 127 to drive to Andover. We're gonna make that 6 lanes, we're gonna redo the entire K96 interchange right there. So we don't want all those projects going at the same time. So we're gonna get North Junction. The East Kellogg job is supposed to let in March of 25. Expecting to start in May of 25. So, we'll be hitting it here and here. Once one of those finishes up, then we'll close 96, because everyone loves traffic control and everyone loves expansion. So, that's kind of what we're looking at right now. I just want to say that maybe I heard wrong, but I thought he said we're starting 54, and I was like, wait a minute, so I just wanted to clarify that. The divergent diamonds, a lot of people don't like them. The good thing about this public meeting, some of you were there, but the ones that weren't, they actually had big projectors where they were showing how to navigate a divergent diamond. It was very good for the public. They were like, man, I've never really gone through one of these. I hear bad things, but this doesn't look so bad. So it was really good to get the public involved in that. I don't know if I can answer your questions, but if you got any questions, throw them out.
Do we have any questions for Dwayne or JB?
What's the length of construction?
4 years. Space 4 years, because we don't want to, we're doing all those intersections, we can't do them on top of each other, so I think we're on 2. Skip 2, yeah.
All right, any other questions? Dad, you?
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, next we have other business. We have no other business. And then finally, number 7, adjournment. Somebody like to make a motion to adjourn today's meeting? So moved. Second. All right, we are adjourned. Great day.